Hi, 8th grade. Welcome back to English class. Today, we're going to do lesson 13 on page 44 in your light unit. So turn to page 44 and you have participial phrase review. I have it up here, participial phrase review. So, everyone needs to be on page 44. Raise your hand if you're there. Okay, good morning everyone. It's good to be together and I'm glad you are on the page. So once again, this is a review, so you've had this already this year. What are participles? Well, maybe as introduction, they are one of the three kinds of verbals. You have talked about infinitives quite at length. To with a verb. By the way, while we're talking about infinitives, a few of you struggle a little with prepositional phrases that look like infinitives. So I'm about out of room here, but I'm going to get down real low and show you again. To plus a verb is an infinitive, but the word to can also be in a prepositional phrase. But if you have to with a noun behind it, such as to the barn, that's a prepositional phrase. But anyway, yeah, keep that in mind. They will probably be on your test. So don't mistake prepositional phrases that begin with to for infinitives that begin with to. Anyway, infinitives are one kind. We've had gerunds already, the verbs that end with ing. And so lastly, we're going to have participles. So gerunds can be nouns, infinitives can be nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. That's what makes them more difficult. Participles are like gerunds in that they only can be one part of speech. So participles are going to always be used as adjectives. Remember though, a participial is a verb form, and so you have the past participial and present participial verb forms that are verbs. But those verb forms, you have present, past, and past participial, and then present participial verb forms that are used as verbs. But then that form of a verb can then also be used as an adjective. So what do they look like? I just use the word burn. For some reason I often do. So you have present is burn, past is burned, and then a past participial would be have burnt. And a present participial would be would be or is burning. So it's this present burning and past participial burnt forms. Of course, they're verbs when they're being used as verbs, but these two forms can be used as adjectives. All right, so where will you find them? Of course, an adjective always modifies a noun or pronoun. Where will you find them? That can vary. Typically, they're going to be immediately following the noun or pronoun, but when they modify the subject, they may come at the beginning of a sentence. That we're going to see in just a little bit. So again, what are you looking for? We're looking for those past participial and present participial forms of verbs. Burn would be present, it's not that. Burn is past, but past participial, have burnt or be burning. And those verb forms can be used as adjectives. So that's what we're looking for. Now, as you've learned about past participial forms of verbs, they can be formed in many different ways. Probably the most typical is simply ending in an ed. But just for example, with the word burnt, it ended in a t. Now the present participial will always be with ing. So how do you know if it's a gerund or a participial then? Because gerunds end in ing too, and they're also verbs. The difference is simply gerunds are always nouns. and participles are going to be always adjectives. So they can be identical words, but if it's a gerund, it's used as a noun and not describing a noun or pronoun. Okay, let's just look at a couple examples here. So let's do number 1 together. The teenage boy leading a pack of mules slowly made his way down the mountain trail toward town. So start looking out for a word that ends in ing, that would be present participial, or a word that ends in ed or t, and perhaps a few other ways, but it's going to be that past participial or present participial forms of verbs. Okay, there, you spotted it. Leading. So leading a pack of mules would be the phrase. So that's what you're going to want to underline. Leading a pack of mules. What is the word that it modifies? Well, what does it describe? Someone? Yes, it's boy. So the teenage boy leading a pack of mules. So you're going to want to underline leading a pack of mules, and then you need to draw an arrow back to boy. Okay? I thought number 7 seemed just a little tricky, so let's take a look at number 7. What you have in number 7 is a line from a poem. Now, the first thing that is helpful is to go at the end and figure out what is the subject of this sentence. So if you're looking there, you're going to see arrives as the verb. What is it? Who or what arrives? Snow. So if you're going to diagram this sentence, snow would be the subject and arrives would be the verb. So you would go like this. Okay, so we're looking for a participial phrase that is going to describe snow. And if you have already figured it out, yes, announced by all the trumpets of the sky. Announced is the participial. And so you're going to want to underline announced by all the trumpets of the sky and draw the arrow over to snow. All right, next, let's talk about how do you diagram a participial. Okay, it has its own little unique way that it's diagrammed. Remember, gerunds are diagrammed like this. And you put the verb and then the ing on the line. Infinitives are diagrammed like this. You put the to and the verb. So how do you do participles? Okay. And if you're looking there, and remember you have to learn this, so many times they're going to modify the subject. So you want to come below it and make this kind of setup, just like you would with an infinitive or a prepositional phrase. And you put the regular verb form. So you put the verb here, but then you put the ending, maybe the ed or the t or the ing down here in the line. So you split the word. You just put the verb here and then the ending down here. So the root word and then the prefix, suffix. Get that right. Okay, so let's do number 8 together so that you're well on the way. Working steadily and diligently, the boys finished their job before lunch. All right, well, let's look for a subject. And I bet you already found it. Sure enough, it's boys. Okay, a verb, what did they do? Well, they finished. Okay, so boys finished. All right, finished. Action verb, what? Sure enough, we have a direct object. Finished job. Okay. All right. Working steadily and diligently. If you're thinking, which I'm sure you are saying, yes, that is a participial. So, describes the boys. So, of course, we had the boys. So, put that. Okay, so we have working. So, we're going to put work, and then we're going to put the ing on the flat part of the line. Now, remember, just like all verbals, they maintain their verbishness. An invented word, probably isn't in the dictionary, but anyway, we use it here, verbishness. So we have here steadily and diligently. What would they be? Well, they're adverbs. They end in ly, that's a big, big clue, and they're telling how they worked. And so they are going to go beneath here, their compound, and so we're going to put steadily. And diligently. And then we will dotted line in between and put and there. Okay, so they finished when we have a prepositional phrase before lunch. That's just an adverb prepositional phrase. Their job, an adjective here. Just need one dot. So, there you go. That's how you do participles. Okay, so you should be able to get all that. Number 11 on your diagrams, you're going to have a verbal, you're going to have an infinitive there. So pay attention to that. I saw an indirect object, number 11, so watch out for that. Okay, pay special attention to number 15, 16, and 17. Those are, you reviewed that quite a bit, but it still has its difficulties. All right, now go to number 26, and I just noticed, maybe worth pointing out, underline the gerund phrases, circle the gerunds. And number 26 actually has two gerunds, so be on the lookout for two gerunds in number 26. How are you getting along with these paragraphs and underlining adjectives? That's a challenge, isn't it? So I tried it and had to go back over in a couple or 3 times to find 47, and then would you know it, I still had one wrong. So yeah, it's a little challenging. One thing that I'm going to give you as a hint, down in the third to the last line, you have crow's foot. Now, I don't know for sure what crow's foot is, but I think it's probably some kind of plant. And I originally thought that should be part of the name, but they're calling crows, C-R-O-W'-S, an adjective. So probably you figured that out, but I wasn't sure. But anyway, crows is an adjective, so make sure you count it as one of your 47. Well, with that, I believe you are good to go on lesson 13. And then we'll have another video on the self-check, which will end up being the pre-test review. So, have a good day.